Zoinks, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And welcome to our long-awaited retrospective on the Mook animation Mount Rushmore of Scooby movies. We're talking everything from Cajun creeps to Wiccans turned wicked, far-out alien invaders to a cyber chase for the ages. It's time to grab some Scooby snacks and show Warner Brothers how a true Scooby-Doo movie should be done. Find your glasses and hold on to your ascots. It's time for the finale of Scoobtember. And this time, folks, we're going out with a bang. It's Scooby-Doo and the cyber chase. Oh boy. We got Lucas Green in the comments. I believe he is our newest subscriber. So how you doing, Lucas? Very happy to have you on board. Very much appreciate the support. He says, hi, guys. Great to see you doing cyber chase finally. So, yeah, Lucas is, I believe he's pretty much jumped on board pretty much for the Scooby-Doo stuff. So, happy to have you, Lucas. All right. Dragon, cyber chase. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Sure. So, I have so much nostalgia for Scooby-Doo and the cyber chase. I really do. And yes, this also puts us the 20th anniversary for this, by the way, when we're doing this. Half the reason for Scoobtember, ending on kind of the anniversary.
Did we even plan for Dracula to be on the 90th anniversary?
Dracula, we lucked out on. This one was intentional, though. Cyber chase was planned.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this... the only thing, I think we planned for Frankenstein, but we forgot about Dracula. They came out in the same year. I think that's what happened there.
Happy accident.
Anywho, so yeah, I got so much nostalgia for Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Let me put it this way. Of the four films, this one is the well-worn VHS tape viewing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the other two were more like, again, when they premiered on TV, it was like kind of a double feature event sort of thing. The other two were just kind of like, those are the VHS tapes you could get and you could rewatch. And obviously, I would rewatch this before I'd rewatch Alien Invaders. Not that it's bad, but out of the four, let's be honest, Cyber Chase wins out compared to Alien Invaders. But we already spent time talking about that. Anyway, so yeah, this has always been my go-to Scooby-Doo movie of choice. It's always been like, if I had to pick one, let's do Cyber Chase. It's been a while. Yeah. It's I think in a weird way, Tiki, I think it's the modern equivalent to the Zombie Islands and the Witch's Ghost, to what their goal was, which is modernizing Scooby-Doo while celebrating the formula and the history, while at the same time, doing something that's never really been done before with the Scooby Gang, which I think this kind of checks all those boxes really well and really memorably. I mean, the villain, to me, very memorable. We're getting in the video, at this time, I was kind of getting in the video games myself. It was more small scale, not like kind of what
this was right around the time that the PS2 was like just launching. So yeah, video games were kind of at their peak of technological innovation back then.
Oh yeah, yep. I will acknowledge, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. We acknowledged, we did have some different outfits. But, like, as a kid, when I was younger, I just kind of noticed, like, oh my god, we finally acknowledged they look different over the years. All right, finally, we acknowledged Shaggy's red shirt after so long and all the changes that have happened over the years in the movie. That's really cool. So rarely does that happen? I mean, the worst thing I can say about it is that, it's a bit of an ad for the tie-in game. Let's be honest, with the video game focus, yeah.
The video game, I think, is the thing that most people honestly remember more.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of marketing around that game, and basically the movie kind of served as a vehicle for the game. But for me, I would go to this before I go to the game. Mind you, I've not played the game, so take that for what you will. But a lot of fun, and gave you a little perspective on the evolution of Scooby-Doo, which I rather enjoyed.
All right. So yeah, Dragon, I was pretty much in the same boat as you were as a kid on this one. Although, of course, I'm a few years older than you, so I was probably like, I want to say I was just starting middle school when this came out. So it was right around the time where it's like, I still really like Scooby-Doo, but maybe Scooby-Doo wasn't cool for my age demographic, if that makes sense. So, Dragon, this was one where it's like I vividly remember getting the VHS, and of course, there is that interesting divide where I feel like Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, you hit it right on the head. Like they were more kind of like these big events that would air on Cartoon Network, whereas I feel like Alien Invaders and Cyber Chase very much lived inside of the VHS bracket. Dragon, I gotta tell you, I was really excited to rewatch this, and I think it's good. I honestly just want to say it's because, of our age gap where I can kind of separate my nostalgia from this, and oh boy, I'm gonna be really unpopular.
Look, I'm not
I
saying
don't
it's not. I know it's not perfect, Tiki. I'm just saying I
I
like
don't
what I like
dislike
about
this at all. I don't dislike it. It's a really fun ride. I think out of the four, it's definitely the most fun. But from what I'm looking for in Scooby-Doo, which is a genuinely good mystery and genuinely creepy atmosphere, along with the fun tone, Dragon, I gotta say, this out of the four, this one very much feels the most like it's 3 20-minute episodes stitched together with some post credits behind the scenes stuff. I mean, I don't know, that post credit stuff, as fun as it is, like it really does kind of like, you know, just sort of show off the fact that it's not really a theatrical movie experience. I don't know.
Well, it never really pretended to be like a theatrical movie experience. I think this thing knows pretty much
But
what it
I'm
is. I
saying
mean, if
stuff
that,
like Zombie Island and even Witch's Ghost, they were kind of going for that, even though they weren't theatrical, they were going for the prestige. And I feel like by this point, they've kind of dropped the prestige. And it's still a really fun ride. I'll give Act 3 all the credit in the world. Act 3, basically as soon as we hit that malt shop, Dragon, it turns into a lot of fun.
oh yeah.
Honestly, as a kid, I don't even remember it taking this long to get into the cyber chase of it all. But watching this as an adult, I was kind of like having when are we going to get to the fireworks factory? Just, like wandering around the campus. Here's the big thing with me, Dragon, and then we'll move on. I just want to highlight this because this was... So I feel like throughout the first three of these movies, I really feel like Shaggy had a big arc. Basically from being baseline Shaggy and Zombie Island all the way up to, I feel like in Alien Invaders, he really is his most mature, dealing with the relationship with Crystal and Dragon. There is one moment, like, I love how him being, not just a fan of food, not just a slob, but like genuinely like passionate about food in kind of like a Remy from Ratatouille kind of way. Like he was kind of like a savant when it came to food in these in these movies. And Dragon, I don't know, it's like I totally get that it makes sense for Shaggy to be like the person who's into video games, but I don't know, it's like we get one obligatory scene in the diner where it's like, oh my god, everyone's grossed out because Shaggy and Scooby are eating too much food. And then the rest of it is I don't know, I just feel like that arc with Shaggy is just kind of lost. I feel like the animation quality is a downgrade. Characterization wise, honestly, the only one who I think really shines in this one particularly is Fred, oddly enough. I mean, I think they're all fine. I just don't think they have many memorable bits, outside of just them interacting with their older selves. And the villain is a lot of fun, Dragon. I'll give you that. The villain is a ton of fun and memorable, for sure. Very memorable design. But I definitely think out of the four, he is the least intimidating as far as like, he is a cartoon villain. You know what I mean? He's very much kind of like a, he's playing to the cameras. He's mugging it up. So as far as atmosphere goes, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the stuff on the boardwalk. We'll get there. That's easily the best stuff in the movie for me. But other than that, I feel like the atmosphere in this movie kind of falls flat compared to, like we have New Orleans, New England, and then New Mexico. I just realized it was a trio of news when I rattled off that list.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I never noticed that. Oh my god,
New Orleans, New England, New Mexico.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know, I just feel like this one, it's like they're having fun with it. I feel like this is kind of like the victory lap. And I can totally acknowledge that. Like, it is probably the most watchable out of the four, just as far as like, if you want just solid, entertaining Scooby-Doo, a lot of reference for the past, a lot of in-jokes, this is one for you. But Dragon, I is someone who does tend to like their Scooby-Doo a little bit more atmospheric. I do rank this one 4 out of 4, but keep in mind, it's still like a solid like 8 out of 10 movie for me. I still like it a lot. So, I'm really not trying to bag on it. I'm just trying to give my personal perspective. All right.
Okay. All right. Well, for the last time, let me walk you through the background.
Oh, boy.
All right. So this one came out in 2001. Again, there was pretty much one a year. Then 2002, obviously, we hit the live action circuit, and well, to varying degrees of
It was the
success. Let's
summer
say
of Six Flags, Dragon.
yes, Tiki. Anywho, so again, we continue to be on the back to formula path. We continue on that path, but with the twist, with kind of our cybery, kind of our cyber chase, kind of video game twist applied to it, which I'd be surprised if ultimately that wasn't like engineered by Warner Brothers for marketing purposes. Like, hey, we can do a game. Let's maybe tailor the film towards video games in some way, shape, or form. So I would not be shocked if that secretly somehow came from the top down. I don't know. Anyway, because at this point, they had the PlayStation, the Game Boy Advance, really kind of like coming into its own around this time. So,
No, 2001. I'm pretty sure PlayStation 2 was out by that point.
Well, I'm just saying in general to the PlayStation, but yes,
Yeah,
PlayStation 2
right.
specifically. Yeah, sure. I know for a fact the Game Boy Advance was because that's where I was then at Ground Zero. But yeah.
No, I was there with you, buddy. I didn't get a PlayStation 2 until probably towards the middle of that console's lifespan.
Right. Exactly. So yet again, believe it or not, from what I understand, they pulled another witch's ghost in terms of the behind-the-scenes production woes of like, hey, Warner Brothers. Honestly, at this point, I really think it was just like kind of a power move at this point. I don't even think it was like a genuine concern. Like it wasn't witch's ghost. I think it was like Warner Brothers exercising some control at this point, because again, this is where they were really making the transition from Warner Brothers animation, from Hanna-Barbera to Warner Brothers Animation, usurping Hanna-Barbera at this point. This is the year that Bill Hanna died, so this is when they completely they closed off their animation, just went completely to Warner Brothers at this juncture. That was this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if again Warner Brothers again with the video game tie-in and with that perhaps they're like we're almost there anyway. Just let's put our guy on the writing staff this go around. This is why this one out of the four has the least of the familiar hands on it. They're still there, but they're really like in kind of a background position of executive producing or like again Glenn Leopold. He's involved, but he's really he's really hands off. He's just kind of like off to the side, kind of in the background, more subtle kind of writing capacity. But they bring in Mark Terose. Anyway, so Mark Terose, he goes on to write two of the other ones that come after us, Legend of the Vampire and the Loch Ness Monsters. This guy's like I really think they were ushering in the replacements for our Mook animation kind of family here.
This one does kind of feel like a transition between Mook and then like some of the other ones that we get later on down the line. It really does.
But at least there's a lot of Mook in there still, so that's
yeah.
what's good. Compared to what kind of comes later, where it's like, okay, now we're cranking out like an.
I will admit, I have not watched any of the ones that come after this one.
I don't
think any of them.
Seriously, I've seen when they aired on Cartoon Network, so I can't really speak from watching them start to finish.
I mean, obviously, I've seen like very select few, like the Scooby-Doo crossover with Batman.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's certainly.
And then, of course, we'll be watching Scooby Courage, but I don't really that like those crossovers don't even really count with this canon. I don't think. So.
Yeah, I've seen some of the recent Scooby-Doo ones, but there was that gap where after these next two, that again, this guy.
The next one is Monster of Mexico, right?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Monster of Mexico's next. I think that's close to being next. This is the. I'm pretty sure the next one is the Legend of the Vampire, which brings back the Hex Girls. I think that's what followed this. And again, they're kind of desperate, like, hey, remember those films you really liked? Hex Girls. It's the same thing, right? So again, there's very much like and you can understand the writers and the original team. They're not thrilled about that. You're forcing it. Did we not do good with the last three? Have we learned nothing?
Yeah.
You're forcing a guy on us again. Anyways.
I don't know. I am curious about stuff like Monster of Mexico and the Loch Ness Monster one, just because those could potentially carry on the trend of like the location based ones that I really liked. So I don't know. I'd be curious to
Well,
go into those.
I think Loch Ness Monster would be the one that jumps out to you particularly because I think
Yeah,
Daphne has like,
for sure, for sure.
because I think Daphne has like Irish family or something that's going on there
Uh-huh.
that brings them to anyway the Nessie. All right. Regardless, so again, they're not thrilled about that. And the idea is that this guy was a newbie, as in he really did not. He was really new to the animation process, and like he pitched things that were a little bit like, okay, guys, like rein it back a little bit. There's only so much we can do, and like there was talk of like I don't know how valid this is, but there was talk of like maybe we can do some live action stuff in this for some reason. Like there were a lot of weird ideas on this that I think they pulled back on. And of course, this movie, a lot of farewells, given it's the last in kind of our merry Mook brew, the last of Mook animation. Again, Bill Hanna's passing, and a big transitioning point. Gray Delisles, or Gray Griffin, taking over the role of Daphne from Mary Kay Bergman, who, interesting story, she, like a lot of the Scooby Doo kind of long timers, they kind of passed on the roles. They kind of some in some cases in the voice acting community with iconic cartoon roles, you kind of train replacements or kind of you usher in the next generation of voice actor. Mary Kay Bergman took on Gray Delisles as her apprentice. So when she passed, again, the role was already in good hands with Gray Delisles, having just loved that character and prepared for it, like all the various Mary Kay Bergman roles. So it was kind of a beautiful passing of the torch in that way.
Nice.
And let's see. I guess lastly, just yeah, this was the last time we have Scott Anez voicing Shaggy and Scooby. They oddly enough, I was completely shocked by this. I don't know exactly what they said to him, and this is the thing that makes me want to go back to some of those movies that came after this, Tiki. So after Scott Anez left the role official, like he would do like parody stuff and like do like I think Harvey Birdman and stuff. Anytime Shaggy and Scooby would pop up, like in things outside of the sanctioned stuff. Casey Kasem came back to voice Shaggy,
Really?
and from what I understand, they worked out a deal where they actually this is the interesting thing looking back on those movies, Diggy. I heard that they actually, for a brief period, when he was voicing Shaggy again, Shaggy was a vegetarian, so that's something to look out for if you go back to those
Oh man,
movies.
yeah. I don't
So
know, Dragon. Something tells me we have to do a sequel to Scoobtember. Honestly,
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
leaning
So
into it.
the thing to look out for is like the period from I want to say 2003 to 2009 if Shaggy was a vegetarian or not, because
Sure,
that's when
sure.
Kasem came back to do the voice.
I mean, just to hear him do the voice in a more modern context would be honestly kind of surreal. Just because
Well,
I didn't even consider that to be a possibility.
I think I told you this once, and you'd love this. The Mystery Inc. Again, the show, the Mystery Incorporated show. What they did is that was the last time Casey Kasem was involved with Scooby Doo. And what they did is they showed the parents of the kids. So Shaggy's father was Casey Kasem, and Matthew Lillard played Shaggy. So it was literally the passing of the torch.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, last time for BJ Ward and everything. So pretty much, again, everyone. Frank Welker at this point, I think in the future after this, he takes on Scooby Doo. So it's again Frank Welker with the two roles from this point onward. Anyway, and again, like this is the last of those films. We then transition to the live action, then your Legend of the Vampires, so on and so on. And yeah, that's it. We got a comment.
Yeah, Theme Park Priest in the comment just says, "Hello, everybody. How you doing, Theme Park Priest?"
All right. Okay.
All right. So yeah, I feel like we've really gone from epic openings to like really not having much of an opening at all.
I really did like this opening, though. Not as much as what I like the Bond opening idea we had with the first half, but I thought it was like a cool. It was like an old school monster movie kind of creation opening, which I really dug.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, tell me a little bit with the Phantom Virus, like in Act One, just overall, Tiki. I mean, did you like any like kind of like an I got like an '80s '90s sci-fi horror vibe?
Dragon,
Like
here's the thing with him. I like him. Like I like him as a design. I like him as a personality. Just to quote Lucas Green here, he says he's easily the best Mr. Ink villain has ever faced. The virus actually has a personality and charisma, whereas past villains most nowadays are one note, evil, goofy. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Is evil Lucas Green as far as just him having a personality is concerned. Definitely, he is one of the most charismatic villains. Dragon, he's just not scary to me. Like, in the slightest. He's not even the slightest bit intimidating to
But that's
me.
what I'm saying. The opening with the ambiance, where like the telephone, like comes alive and like is attacking people, and he can like it seems there's like a menace to him when he's physically in the world.
I don't know what to tell
I don't
you.
know.
It's just the goofy blue design. I don't know. Subjectivity.
All right, all right. Okay, so regardless, so that we bridge from that to the setup, which the setup pretty simple. So the gang, they had a high school buddy who was into computer programming, and he's at the state university now, and he's invited them all down because he's created a game in their honor based on their high school adventures, which high school being the code word for the original "Where are you, Scooby Doo" era.
Yeah.
So, and again, I just really do love that idea that we canonize the early adventures by
I do
basically.
think that this movie is one of the first times, outside of maybe the Johnny Bravo episode,
Yeah.
where we're really playing around with the tropes and the history of Scooby Doo. So that's fun.
There's the fun, self-aware quality really does help this one stand out. And again, also addresses again a little bit of the arc, which I don't know if I'd lean too heavy on Shaggy having an arc, because that crystal thing is really the only arc we gave him out of the 4 movies, if you really look at it. But I don't know. But overall, I mean, I like that, we have like, high school to college essentially. It's like, they have grown up, and, these movies have been kind of a really growing experience for this franchise.
So, Lucas, you want me to read this comment, I assume, which is, it's underrated due to its predictability, but to be fair, wasn't Witch's Ghost and Aliens Invaders. I assume you're saying what wasn't Witch's Ghost and Aliens Invaders also predictable. Not as predictable as this, Lucas, and that transitions into Dragon. Honestly, some of the more clunky exposition that we've seen in any 4 of these movies, which is like, oh, I'm designing my baseball game. Oh, you're a wise man, Fred. Baseball's the best game there is.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about the mystery of overall, because Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas, look, it's totally fine. I'm not trying to like diminish your opinion or anything, but I'm just saying, like, out of the 4, like, honestly, Crystal is a twist. Like, I really think that is an effective twist, and it does have a profound impact on Shaggy in that movie.
Well, the thing, he's not talking about the twist, he's talking about the mystery, though. The mystery in that movie is kind of a wreck when you think, because there's no need for the alien disguise, which is the big problem with that movie, where Witch's Ghost, I think, has a really good mystery, actually. That one is even assisted by
I'm sorry, Lucas. Thank you. I've seen your past work on the Loose Short, and I've been a fan ever since. I bumped into Blue Dragon on Geekvolution. Okay, so he's saying he's been following us since the Loose Short. All right. Yeah, you're right, Lucas. I did miss that one, so thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
But I mean, yeah, though, I really like the mystery in Witch's Ghost. But no, I absolutely admit it, though. Yeah, that is kind of the weak part of this one. I think the mystery at least makes sense here. It
makes sense. It's just like literally every level they go to, it's like, play ball, batter up. It's going, gone.
So yeah, I feel exactly where I think the mystery was pandering in this case, and that it was like this mystery was specifically designed for the kids in the audience, where it's like, okay, we need to make sure the kids are going to be able to follow along here, so we're going to throw all the baseball stuff at you. And you got to remember, here's something that kind of occurred to me on the rewatch I never thought about before, is that the way we end the movie with the mystery, we do the classic Scooby unmasking, where we catch the guy, which the other movies have not necessarily done, with the exception of Witch's Ghost. Because we have like the fake mystery where we did unmask a guy, but then of course we had the twist. But in general, think about it. That scene plays really clunky because, okay, we're out of the game finally, and ordinarily if we were doing just an actual like hour-long episode, it'd be, okay, well, we found well, we have suspects, and we're going to call out, oh, these guys are suspicious, and these clues are tracking, but we saved all that for the end, so it's like, hey, all 4 of you guys we were suspicious of, and it's like, well, why call them out? You know who it is.
You know what it would have taken, Dragon? All it would have taken is like 1 or 2 lines within the game for Velma to point out, like, gee, this guy seems to be a big fan of baseball. Like just them kind of putting together the pieces a little bit more.
I mean, sure, but I'm just saying, it's like Velma, why are you insulting everybody? Just point out who it is at this point. It's not like you figuring out the mystery. You know who it is. So what's the point? But again, at least the mystery makes sense compared to like, hey, what we had in Alien Invaders, where it was like we're digging for gold and we're dressing up like aliens to
Oh
go
yeah,
out
as
of our
far as a
way.
mystery
Yeah.
goes, Alien Invaders is easily the worst.
So
Yeah,
by that logic, it's a far better mystery. But yes, it
sure.
is. The problem though is that it is predictable as all get out because we I think
And it's very Drake. I don't care if a mystery is predictable. I care if it's telegraphed, because if it's telegraphed, that means it's just going to get annoying on repeat
and
watches.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, I like the baseballism, but you're right though. It is pretty much shoving in your face, like, hey, it's the baseball guy.
Right,
It's the
right,
baseball.
exactly.
And I mean, here's the thing though. I really liked our suspect lineup. What did you think of our suspect lineup? Like before we made it really obvious who it was, like at the top.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. We had that fun setup where it's like, oh, it could be anyone in this room.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the setup was good, and I liked all four. We had really great voice talent on
I
this,
do
by the
think
way.
that the setup with them watching the gang in the game, and all four of them are suspicious in some way. That is a good. That
Yeah,
is a good structure.
yeah, and also I want to highlight our four suspects. They were really good voice talent, by the way. Like Joe Alasky, the great Joe Alasky, Grandpa Lou. He
Oh
played
yeah.
Officer Wembley, and he was doing like an Andy Griffith sort of thing. We had Professor Kaufman, the great Tom Kane, doing like. And I love how Tom Kane played Professor Kaufman because he was stern but also a little bit warm. He's like the mentor, the professor. He kind of looked at these boys almost as like sons in a way or surrogate sons. And you had Eric Bob Bergden. So rarely do we give Bob Bergden like a straight role versus like all the Looney Tunes talent we have going on in this thing.
Uh-huh.
And of course, Billy, who's a Ninja Turtle. We got Mikey Kelly as Billy McLenmore, who was basically the culprit. He was the baseball guy.
Sure, sure.
All right. I do really like in our structuring of things, though. I love that Act One ends with them being trapped, and it's like a thing about this. Our bad guy has taken a proactive measure to get the guys who are going to solve the mystery out of the equation. That's really inventive. Like we've never done that before. Like, hey, I'm going to get rid of these guys, so they're not
No,
going to.
it's all really fun. It's all
Yeah,
really fun. Like I said, Dragon, like my problems with this movie are mostly aesthetic, honestly. It's mostly like in comparison to the last three that we've gotten, it's far less atmospheric. But conceptually, it's a lot of fun. So that's like I would honestly probably give Alien Invaders and Zombie Island 9 out of 10s. I give Witch's Ghost and this 8 out of 10 for different reasons. That's kind of where I'd rank them.
something I want to highlight, just compared to what we've done with the other three movies, with the exception of the turkey gag in Witch's Ghost. We get full on Shaggy and Scooby shenanigans and kind of the let's just face it, kind of the slightly boring college setup, which I liked, but I get your point. Yeah,
It
not
takes
as
20 minutes to get to the cyber. 20 minutes.
it,
Okay, I want to emphasize this, Drag. I want to emphasize this, okay?
all right, go on.
20 minutes
Yes, it is 20 minutes.
out of a movie that is like 65 minutes long if you
Yeah,
don't count the post-credit stuff.
sure.
So that's literally a third of the story right
Well, yeah,
there
that's
is not in the titular cyber chase.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind
It
of the
is
point of it,
setup. I just don't think you need that much setup.
right? I mean, that said, and I hear your point, but I'll admit it. Compared to where we go in the game, clearly not as interesting. Clearly, and you want to get to the name six, as soon as you can.
Like I
But
said, Dragon, to quote the great Millhouse Van Houten, when are we gonna get to the fireworks factory?
But that's what I'm saying though, is that you are given some classic Scooby stuff at the top though, where you have Shaggy and Scooby doing the costume shenanigans where they're messing with the monster, which again is something we had not done in the other movies with the exception of that turkey
Okay,
gag. Which
let
I
me
mean,
tell you a scene that really bothered me in regards to, like I mentioned, Shaggy's characterization before. So Shaggy seems pretty on point. Like I said, I do think it's kind of a shame that they don't continue the like. Honestly, I think it would have been cool if Fred was the gamer of the group, just because it would have been like kind of like him being a secret nerd in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I would have been down with that, but I get why they gave it to Shaggy. But Dragon, like I said, I was very compelled with Shaggy being just kind of like this wandering foodie who had a very humble dream of being a food critic in a magazine. I don't know. I really love the way that we were going with that. And then in this movie, it's back to like would you do it for 2 Scooby snacks? And Dragon, let me tell you why that bothers me. It bothers me because literally right before that in the scene, Shaggy's basically being an adult about it. You know, they have that whole demonstration about sucking the Scooby snacks into the game, which is cool. It is cool technology. I'll give you that. But, you know, Shaggy's being an adult. He's like, hey, Doc, any chance we could get the computer, you know, the Scooby snacks out of the game? So it's like they have the box of Scooby snacks, Dragon. It is in their possession. They're fighting over it, but it's in their possession. And then Velma goes to the whole, like, would you do it for a Scooby snack? Like, I don't know, Drake. I will admit it's a very small moment, but to me, I'm like, okay, I feel like we're past the whole would you do it for a Scooby snack at this point. What do you think?
I mean, Tiki, I think you're kind of making a mountain out of a molehill.
I really think I am too.
Yeah,
I agree.
I would say if you really listen to, like, I don't know, Tiki. I think it's kind of a big quibble. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. You got to take the progression element. I mean, you can only go so far with it when the 4 movies aren't. They're not allowed to really be like a full like 4 movie arc. They have to play it case by case. And the most arc we got was
but like I said, I do feel like the first 3 movies were like, if not a story arc, they were at least kind of like a Cornetto trilogy where it's like they had very similar themes. They all kind of like involved small towns in very exotic locations. I don't know.
Right.
Connective tissue.
I mean, sure, Tiki. The only flaw I want to blindly agree with you on that, Tiki. Is just the fact that Witch's ghost kind of interrupts that arc. That's the thing, though. Is just like he's pretty much just classic Shaggy again in Witch's ghost, which kind of interrupts that.
Yeah, I mean, he is. Yeah,
I know that's the only reason I'm disagreeing with you. Otherwise, I'd say, yeah, you're right. There is progression.
The only reason I will agree with that point is because I feel, oh god, and this is just turning into a very minutia-filled conversation here.
Yes,
but the only reason I agree on that point is because I do feel like in Zombie Island he has a more sophisticated palette than he does in Witch's Ghost.
Sure.
All right. Anyways, let's read some comments here.
Yes.
ZNK channel says there's also the great exchange, like, hey, wait, guys, I never said how we're splitting up.
Like we ever
have we ever done it any other way?
Just okay. That's like we got to talk about the again the self-aware component of the movie is just really strong, and we have moments
like I said,
that.
I really feel like, you know, outside of the obvious Johnny Bravo episode, which really was the first time where it's like, all right, let's poke some fun at this concept. This really was kind of like the coming out party of like, all right, guys, we don't have to take Scooby-Doo that seriously.
And also, like, we have some great Daphne really comes alive in this. I want to talk about Daphne I want to talk about Daphne for a minute, but I'm just going to highlight this first. The whole, oh, you creepy thingy, and just Fred just having this great
creepy thingy.
Yeah,
Dragon, I gotta say, like, you know, it very much was highlighted with Alien Invaders during our chat there.
Sassy Fred.
As time goes on, I am just appreciating Frank Welker's idiosyncrasies as Fred just more and more, man.
Again, Frank Welker, the journeyman. He's been there since the beginning. He knows his character. Again, Tiki, you got to see how he plays Fred Mystery Incorporated, just to see what he does there with him. He gives Fred layers and in a running gag.
All right, let's see. So continuing, Miscellaneous says, I need to hear Anton Ego's lines read by Shaggy.
Like we say a lot about being a critic. And the ups and downs and the perils.
We do have a super chat function. Just saying. Lucas Green says, my only issue is that there was a montage over 6 levels, which makes fans unhappy that they might want to see the night level or the Egyptian level,
how did you feel about the montage? I
honestly don't mind it, just because I feel like it
would have gotten repetitive if we
if
we just spent all that time going through all these levels, cool as they may have been, it would have gotten, okay, well, we got to do the thing again, we got to find the Scooby snacks, and it's gonna take away from all the good stuff in Act 3.
Yeah. All right, then we have Jeffrey Winkle. He says, is this a conspiracy conversation for the fan club? Yeah, it kind of turned into one there for a second. All right, back on track, Dragon. Where were we?
All right, let's see. Let me talk about Daphne. So a big thing I want to highlight with Daphne, I think she really came alive in this movie, and I think sadly, losing Mary Kay Bergman, I think, was a wake up call for a lot of people. It was an untimely demise, and It's just the fact that I think it was a realization. You know what? Many times we've wasted the character of Daphne, where Daphne is it's kind of a glass half full, glass half empty situation. Where she's a blank slate of the she's the eye candy archetype. That's all she used to be. But really, that's a blank slate. That's a challenge. Where what we do now with the Brave and the Bold crossover and stuff like that is like, hey, when we do Daphne these days, or Supernatural, the Scooby Natural crossover. It's like Daphne is full of surprises and possibilities. That's the challenge. Daphne, we have not done any historically done nothing with her. So when we do like the Mook animation films, like, hey, we'll make her a reporter. We'll make her like the glue that bonds the gang together. We'll give her stuff to do. And this is where we have the idea of, hey, she can fight, which bled over into the Sarah Michelle Gellar thing in the live action movie. That's what I'm saying. I think this movie finally gave Daphne some stuff to do, and again, of course, Great allows being as big a fan as Daphne
I think
as the fans.
Out of all the old characters interacting with the new characters, the Daphnes interacting with each other are the funnest.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that funhouse scene so much. It was a nice, and also a little side note: first kiss with Fred ever.
Yeah.
Just like on the cheek, but it was classy. It was like it was there. It happened. I just bought this jacket. Just Daphne can be a lot of fun when done right. Again, Greg Griffin she brought that to the surface, man. Awesome.
All right. Z and K Channel says, out of the 4 movies, what would you say had the best cover of the theme? Honestly, for me, this one maybe.
I mean, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, maybe
I think this one is the most creative out of the 4.
I think it's between this and Witch's Ghost. I'm going to say maybe this, but I need to hear
I
both
feel
side
like
by
the
side.
other 3 were basically just like, hey, let's do the theme, but in a punk rock style. Whereas this kind of like, what I like about this is that, it's not really like electronic music per se, but it kind of took the, took the cyber element of the movie and kind of played with it a little bit.
Yeah, man, I like that. Again, you and I, we're very much indoctrinated through stuff like your pup named Scooby Doo, where we have like the jazzy kind of theme applied to the Scooby Doo kind of song.
Okay, hot take. I think the pup named Scooby Doo song slaps, and it's probably objectively a better song than the Scooby Doo.
So that's what I'm saying. It's catchy as all get out. Is my point? Is
that's
that
saxophone,
sometimes,
man.
Yeah, that's me. I love that too. Obviously, it's not the same song. That's why we can't necessarily say it's the same thing. But I'm just saying when you jazz up the Scooby Doo music, kind of like we do here, it kind of plays.
Just like I think Rescue Rangers might be a better song than DuckTales.
Oh, we got a super chat.
All right. Well, I really appreciate that, Lucas. Let's see.
I forget if it's euros or not. I don't. Oh God, I
forgot. Tiki, I disagree, and also the predictable thing about. Okay, Lucas, I'm terribly sorry. Now I feel bad because you're throwing money at me. But Dragon, can you find the comment that he's talking about?
I can't believe you missed this. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Okay. I'm searching for it. Okay, man, it really came early. Okay, I'm seeing where Lucas earlier said to make it easier for you to start to think I disagree. I'm gonna scroll up to the top.
I don't see any Tiki. I disagree.
I know. I'm looking for it. I'm sorry, Lucas. I don't think you started with Tiki. I disagree. I'm trying to look for if you fit it in there. It might. I don't know if it was before the show or not.
Even if it was before the show, it would have. I don't know.
Like, all right. Okay. I'm gonna seek it out here.
All right. Well, Lucas, look, if you could just maybe copy and paste the question, or
I don't feel the need to do it as another super chat. Just we'll absolutely read it this time.
Yeah. I'll pay it to and if you since you did send in a super chat, like if you want to ask us a question or something, by all means, feel free to do so. But
yeah. All right. Sorry about that, Lucas. I've just combed through. I cannot see it for the life, man. I don't know if I'm blind or what. I just can't see.
I'm Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Circling back. We set up the. So we beam. Let's just transition into the game. So we beamed him into the game using our big MacGuffin, the hyper energy laser, which is awesome.
So here's what I do like about the film, from a structure level, is that I really do like how the levels of the game are very much. They feel like levels in the sense that, like, they're small challenges. And I really like that, you have to collect the box of Scooby snacks to advance. I don't know, it just flows as a game, Dragon. I feel like I feel like this movie has its finger on the pulse of what a video game is actually like more than a lot of other, like, movies of this concept.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do like how straightforward that setup is. Feels very kind of very video game logic, and also I love that each like we start up. I think this is where I go with the montage thing. Where again, I think we saw 3 levels, and I think that's a good
Yeah,
baseline. We're okay. We saw how it works for 3 levels, and the rest you can kind of fill in the blanks. We give you a tease at some cool levels where you know exactly how it's going to go. So why draw it out? But
yeah,
we
I
have
totally
stuff like
agree.
but again, we had some fun though with the moon level, for example. We had the mystery machine rover in zero gravity and stuff like that. I just love the fact that we styled the mystery machine into a moon rover. It's awesome. Oh, did you notice the big mistake? There was a big animation mistake
Oh God, no! What was it?
on the moon. Daphne, I'm sorry, Velma says something, but it's in Daphne's voice. They dubbed the wrong
Oh
character.
dear, no, I did not notice that.
Oh yeah. Okay, I have one of Lucas's comments. He highlighted a second one talking about the Ben Ravencroft thing. Go to 1028, but I guess your time zone though.
Okay, so 7:28. One quarter.
Yeah, it was 728. One about Ben Ravenscroft.
The predictable, like, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like Ben
Like Tiki,
Ravencroft is
did
a
you see
villain.
Ben
Like,
Ravencroft being the bad guy in Witch's Ghost? Because I didn't.
I mean, I think the one thing that's predictable about it nowadays is that he's voiced by Tim Curry, and he's gonna be up to no good. But like, honestly, as a kid, I kind of fell for it about as hard as I fell for Crystal, where I was like, oh man, I really like that Velma has this love interest, and I want things to work out for her, and then they really don't. And not only do they not, but he really rubs it in her face in a really douchey way. So,
Yeah, I mean, the thing I highlight when we talked about Witch's Ghost is, I mean, I was so charmed by it. Tim Curry was kind of playing against type, where hey, you felt really sorry for this character. His ancestors' name was being dragged through the mud, and basically turned into to a tourist trap, and like literally they dug up his ancestor's body by
right,
accident.
right.
And I felt for him, and I think he did a really good job, just kind of playing against that. And of course, when we had the turn, he went full Curry, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, it was beyond awesome. I am a warlock. Oh no, the better line. Remember the better line, Tiki?
Yeah.
No, it's a spell book.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Okay, let's see. So we had some other stops like the Coliseum, for example. Like Tiki. The funny Frank Welker line for me in this movie is, Leo, just doing the Toro thing with the lion was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
But tell me, as the big Jurassic Park fan, do you recall like how you reacted to the prehistoric level?
I mean, Dragon, dinosaur stuff was all over cartoons of this era. Like, Hey Arnold literally had a dinosaur theme park. So
Yes,
like,
but what was there a talking dog in the theme park?
look, I mean, it was cool, but I didn't like lose my mind. I wasn't like, oh my God, it's dinosaurs.
So another way I'd sum up this movie, Teague, is it's cute as all get out in places where Scooby. Oh, look at Scooby helping the virtual baby pterodactyl. Ain't that cute?
uh,
Yeah. A lot of stuff like that. So, in that montage, I do love the animation on certain parts. Like when we're underwater, I thought that animation, like that's Mook animation doing what it does best. We had like the medieval, like Shaggy and Scooby is like a steed. You had cool stuff like that.
But Dragon, here's the thing: is that all these scenes, like, they just like they're fun and they're fun levels and everything, but none of them are remotely like atmospheric.
Oh yeah, and it's hard to do that when you only have like a brief snippet in a montage. So yeah.
I mean, I get that, but it's like when you think about like, it's like they did do montages in the other movies and they still came off. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think it is. Just thinking about it, Tiki. It's the fact that it's not a chase per se. I mean, they're going after Scooby snacks, but I mean, they're not. They're not necessarily being chased in the traditional thing.
I mean, I honestly think part of it is just kind of like the aesthetics of the movie and the lighting and everything and how that's done. But
oh well, that's a better point. But all right. Let's see. I'm trying to think of where we should. Well, I guess we should talk about the big act 3 of it all.
okay, so yeah, like I said, once they go into the malt shop, Dragon, I am completely all on board. Like any nitpicks I had about this movie going into it, like kind of like drop off once they go into the malt shop. The malt shop forward is a lot of fun.
Something before we go full malt shop, something that happens right before the malt shop in Act 3 is we get the classic Scooby-Doo villains, a lot of them from the opening of Scooby-Doo credits.
Oh yeah.
And the really clever thing that I thought this was so darn clever is that, hey, much like the other 3 movies, we've actualized the monsters.
I really like this concept as well,
Yes.
and I think it really holds up.
So we have Creeper, Jaguaro, which I completely forgot that was a real thing when I watched it for the first time. Jaguaro, what? It's like the early Catwoman concert. She wore the Big Panther hat. Anyway, so yeah, Creeper, Jaguaro, Gator Ghoul. Then 2 of my favorites, the Tar Monster and Old Iron Face. I love Old Iron Face.
Yeah, Iron Face is good. Yeah,
not much of a monster, but it's really cool. Because here's the thing: if you think about it, we took away the menacing element when you put him on land because he rides sharks, the torpedo sharks. And we took that away from him, but still, he looks awesome with that mask. Regular Dr. Doom effect.
Channel says, this is the first time I recall seeing villains from the Scooby-Doo show. I was just familiar with Where Are You growing up. Creeper, I knew. The rest took me a bit of researching. Yeah, I think for me it was probably like half and half. Like half of them I reckon the Mud Monster and obviously the Creeper I very much recognized right away. I think same thing with Iron Face.
Really, Iron Face is like all over those credits, though. You really?
Yeah, I think the rest of them I'm kind of drawing a blank on.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I got 3 out of the 5. So that's where I'm at on it. But you know, regardless, it's just kind of cool. The conceit's just really awesome that we can't unmask them this time.
I really like that. It's like, because it makes total sense with the video game. It's like, of course, if you're programming a video game, you're not going to have the monsters. Like the monsters in video games are not going to be guys in suits. I love the logic of that. It's a logical logic at its finest.
And also, here's the thing. I've always had this as a kid with Scooby. I still have it, and we didn't really do anything with this until Batman Brave and the Bold, till that crossover. As I've mentioned copiously when we talked about that, is that, it's always like, why don't they fight back against the monsters? Where, in this case, because if they do that, then the episode's over. That's why they didn't do that in the show. Because if they fight them, then it's only going to be a 10-minute show. But in this case, we gave no, they're actually menacing and they're very clearly outmatched because they're real. So we gotta run. Which made sense. Anyway, so then we duck into the malt shop, and the moment as love, now of course you go in the malt, you see malt shop, oh boy, Scooby-Doo 101. We gotta go to the malt shop. And it's the original gang, and I gotta tell you guys, I still fanboyed out when I was a kid. Like, he's wearing the red shirt. He's either the green or the
red shirt is totally for sure.
See, nostalgically for me, the red shirt, that's Solo Shaggy. Solo Shaggy wore the red shirt when he was like doing like the reluctant werewolf and like the side quest stuff. It's like, oh my god, we because they had to differentiate the 2 Shaggies. They had to give them like a different thing. What are we gonna do? Well, we'll put them in the red. It's the other variant of Shaggy we have. So yeah, you have the Fred complimenting the ascot as he's wont to do, and we're in the classic Mystery Machine.
But of course, we head to the Boardwalk Carnival, whatever it is, and it's great. I love it. It's Dragon. This is where the atmosphere of the movie finally starts to come alive for me.
And again, Tiki, with these 4 movies,
it basically feels like an extended episode of Where Are You, but on a bigger budget.
And that's exactly the point, is that with 4 movies in, we've kind of ushered in or updated like the classic Scooby-Doo kind of traits and like our locations. We've explored the locations more, and the one iconic location we had not done is the traditional like spooky amusement park, which we did awesomely at the very end. Like we earned the classic one at the end. Just a great set piece. Okay, Tiki, look alive.
What?
Comment.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. Tiki, I disagree. The virus had a creepy smile and has that creepy moment at the malt shop. Saying, "Come out and play." Come out. He has intimidation moments. I mean, yeah. Look, Lucas Green, you're not wrong. I'm not trying to poo poo on your opinion. I'm just, it's, compared to like the aliens or the crazy witch shenanigans or the zombies, I think he's probably 4 out of 4 as far as intimidation goes, but he certainly has its moments. I'll agree with you there.
He's a villain with kind of a contingent.
Kind of has like a Jack Nicholson Joker vibe, if that makes sense.
I mean, here's the first. I just want to, because we didn't talk about this with the virus yet. Voiced by Gary Anthony Sturgis, and that's Ebon from Static Shock. The big bad guy from Static does the voice of Phantom Virus, which in itself is kind of cool and ironic given he's electrical. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, the Phantom Virus already. I just love that name, by the way, the Phantom Virus. It's a cool name, regardless. I he is kind of contingent on which where he is. Like, is he in the game or is he out of the game? Because those are like two different, like that's what kind of makes him more or less menacing. Because in the game you're playing by his rules, but I would make the argument that I think he's more intimidating when he's in our world because that doesn't belong that way. Like, he shouldn't be our world. That's scary. That laser made something that's not supposed to happen.
Uh-huh.
But then again, more effective in the game during our climax. I think the climax is kind of scary where we're in that arcade and he's like throwing everything around, lightning bolts at people. And again, we set up the stakes where if our guys, they don't get extra lives like Spy Kids, okay? They're going to get killed in this game. It's not Spy Kids 3D in here. They could actually die in this game. They can't go until they reach the last level, which I love that video game logic applied to like our plot. Like, okay, we got to get to the end of this puppy.
All right, Lucas Green asks, are we going to set up the magnet plot device? So, Dragon, let's talk about magnets. Oh!
As a kid, and still, I love the magnet kryptonite idea. I love, like, the magnet bar thing.
It makes a lot of sense, yeah.
It's really cool, and the fact that we use this as kryptonite in the real world. I will admit, it's a buy that really now we're noticing the interference this thing is causing because we need it for the big climax. But it's still, I like the device though, so I mean, I'm going to give it a pass. I think it's an earned
I feel like
pass.
they kind of forget about the magnets until the climax, but you know, it's still fun. It's still a really
I mean, it's kind of like a buy. Like, would that item like be transferred as well?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't. That's what I'm saying. If you really think but that's an easy buy though. It's not like a buy of like, wait a minute, this alien thing? How's this working?
Z and K channel says, sorry, I phased out. What's this about a magnet? Dragon, would you like to explain the magnet?
Yes. So basically, when the virus came alive for the first time, when he was laser beamed into the real world, there was that really horrific tonal scene that I like a little bit. A skosh more my associate here at the top. We had that really atmospheric scene where we reveal when the virus stepped on this magnet, he began fritzing out like kryptonite to Superman. And our guys were armed with this magnet in Act 1. Like, go around, find the virus, and use this on him so we can beam him back in the game. So we had a kryptonite set up, Chekhov's magnet, if you will, and it paid off.
Uh-huh.
As we're trying to go for it to stop the virus, and of course gets kicked under a game, which ultimately the magnet does not save.
Oh,
our
I'm
bacon.
sorry, Z&K says it's a joke from Cyberside Shaggy. My
my
bad,
right.
Z&K. I'm dumb.
Right? Yeah, he's quoting the. Right, he's quoting the Shaggy line when they were all.
You know,
they all
like
get
I'm trying to be a helpful host in the comments, so when I see a question, I try and answer it.
Right. Let me ask you this, Tiki. Do you think I did have one issue with Act 3, and I love these scenes, but I just feel there's a repetition that goes on where before we have like the big climax in the arcade, which is great, we basically run into our Scooby-Doo rogues 3 times, and I think it's 3 times too many.
I mean, yeah, I hear you.
It's like, how many times can we take him out? Like, a part of me, look, I don't mind it.
I think the thing is, I'm just having a lot of fun at the location.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love all the scenes with them, but I'm thinking about it. I think out of the 3, the montage with the music, I think that's the catchiest of the bunch, though. But I don't want to miss out on stuff like Daphne. The Daphne's having a good time in the funhouse, though. You know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But yeah, that's seriously, those montages of them taking out those guys together with teamwork. It's like, the wax museum, the petting zoo, you get that Shaggy. My favorite being that how they take out the tar monster with the cotton candy machine. It's so funny.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. Lucas Green says, I like the line that Professor Kaufman says. Our civilization is so dependent on technology, the virus is a threat to the entire world.
Yeah, this movie's kind of like ahead of its time as far as I honestly no one could have predicted just how in 20 years we're just, oh man, Dragon, can you imagine if just all the Wi-Fi in the world just dropped?
Well, we kind of saw that with Mitchell's versus the Machines. It would not.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we'd be fucked.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of scary. But
I like to say, hey, let's break out the Ethernet cables. We'll be okay, but I think it's going to be a little more complicated than that.
all right.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. All right. So, but the point being, is like I do enjoy the montage we have, and even before that, I'm just saying like, okay, so all five of our split up kind of duos take out their guys, and then they do it again, and then we have to distract the virtual Scooby gang with them coming back for a third time. I'm just saying, much as I love it, and I'm not getting tired of it. It just seems like with more critical eyes, like did we need it that often?
Mm.
But it's fun. It's fun as all get. I can't. But we have mystery machines in the form of bumper cars. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, right.
But that arcade, I think making arcade the boss level is just it's a genius idea. Just because we started with video games, we're going to end with video games, and it's something that would be on a boardwalk. I can speak from experience. I've been on boardwalk.
Yeah,
arcades.
I know arcades are on boardwalks. You think I don't know arcades are on
boardwalks? Maybe I'm talking to the folks. You ever think about that?
All right.
Maybe it's not all about you.
Oh God.
Anyway. Yeah, and of course, we think we have the advantage with the magnet, but then we kind of strip that away. Fred's in peril. All of our guys are in peril. But then second Scooby saves the day during a very intense sequence where he could have been mortally wiped out from existence. So I remember last time you spoke very fondly of Frank Welker's line as Fred.
Uh-huh.
The whole, you guys okay?
Are you guys okay?
Which is great, but my equivalent to that of these movies has always been, bye, Scooby. Just, one Scooby saying goodbye to the other. It's just kind of this. It was, seriously, it was just kind of this, the goodbye was just kind of this heart-meltingly.
It's certainly a more genuine moment than when fucking Shaggy has to sacrifice his life and never, ever, ever come back, ever.
Yeah.
And the Scoob.
Yeah, we're looking at you, CG Scoob. But I mean, seriously.
Sure, Scoob. You're gonna kill off Shaggy. Sure.
We're gonna have the guts.
I dare you. I fucking dare
you. we just find another guy on the street. We give him a green shirt. You're the new Shaggy.
Can you imagine if they actually kept Shaggy dead?
Yeah, here's what they would do.
The rest of the movie still would have sucked, but I would have admitted, that would have been a ballsy ending.
Imagine this: they're driving, the mystery machine's just driving along. It stops. It finds kind of a drifter type, maybe a cleaned up drifter, nonetheless. And says, "Hey, hand him a green shirt. Hey, mind if we call you Shaggy?" And he gets.
Oh my God!
You like dogs? You mind if we call you Shaggy? You want to get a bite to eat? Yeah.
Oh God.
But no, in all seriousness, though, again, I just love the goodbye with the group. Again, kind of the past and the present, getting a moment. This kind of have it's like a touching passing of the torch moment, and with the bye Scooby, it's like saying goodbye to your past. It's kind of beautiful, I thought.
Uh-huh.
All right, Luca, we have some comments here.
Yeah, let's see. Lucas says, even though Scooby gets the snacks, it's Fred's plan to use cyber Scooby that gets the virus distracted.
Yeah, we're giving Fred some moments there, yeah.
Then, gentlemen, since the virus has so many baseball lines, which is your favorite?
Okay, I'm trying to think. There are a lot of good ones. I don't want to just say play ball, but I think he had something along the lines of...
I mean, honestly, I think they're all, none of them really, they're all fine. None of them really stick out to me above the other ones.
Well, I think it was you're in the big leagues now once all the villains showed up. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's what I'm saying. Lines akin to that. The ones that are about kind of leveling up, I liked a great deal. We're in the final game now or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm thinking, unless you have anything else you want to kind of get in there. I mean, clearly, we nabbed the guy in the baseball hat. That wasn't apparent in the end.
Yeah, I mean, shenanigans. Like I said, with the theme park, it's great to see all the classic tropes, like the funhouse mirrors and the roller coaster and stuff like that. Locations that we used to see in Where Are You all the time. It's great to see that stuff all come back. But yeah, honestly, I just think the conclusion of this movie is just really, I don't know. It's just kind of rushed and underwhelming, and I love the post-credit stuff. I really do, but at the same time, I feel like the post-credit stuff really was probably inserted in there because they knew that without it, they didn't have enough time to do a full-length movie.
I didn't see it. Sorry, I did not think of it that way, but you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right about that. Yeah. I do love with the post credit scene though. I do want to highlight. I think it's a fun movie within a movie kind of highlight reel.
Oh,
But
it's great.
it
It
just
very much reminds me of like how Pixar would do the blooper reels and
yeah,
stuff like that.
like him for A Bug's Life. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's just so darn cute, and to me, a bit that I really like is like the PS at the end of the movies that they use the laser to bring Cyber Scooby to play with the other Scooby. Isn't that darn? That's so cute. They can visit each other anytime they want with this next
Oh
gen
my god.
laser. That's going to give them like $250,000 prize, I'm sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas Green says it could have easily been a TV series per level. Or a TV episode per level. Yeah, Lucas, honestly, yeah, I really think that I don't know. Like I said, that like this is a very valid movie for sure. Like I like it a lot, but I do think it's also the one of the things is not like the other of the four.
Well, let me point something out because he brought that up, and it makes a really good point about the whole TV series per level. What we do have, what was really interesting, again, these movies are basically let's do stuff with Scooby Doo we haven't done before, or reinvent the things that we've seen up to this point. Think about it. They did not know where we were going with the Scooby Doo movie franchises after this point, but those video game levels are kind of like, what are places we can take Scooby and the gang that we could not do within reason? Okay, we're going to put them, we're going to send them to the moon. We're going to send them to prehistoric times. We're going to send them to Rome. We're going to put them underwater, which of course
No, I mean
nowadays
you're
we've gone
absolutely
to.
right about that for
Yeah.
sure.
That's
I
the
don't
fun
know.
factor.
Like I said with the atmosphere, like with the prehistoric stuff. Like I don't know. It's like comparing the swamps in Zombie Island to the swamps in the prehistoric stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
But still, it's like I said, Trey. This is still like it's among the best pieces of Scooby media. You know, it really is. I just think it's in a Mount Rushmore and happens to be the for me, the Mount Rushmore face that's the least prominent, but still it's on that Mount Rushmore, so.
Sure. It's the one with the chip nose, but it's still well loved.
Right.
So like a ZNK channel says, I always enjoyed those sort of fake animated actor ideas, like similar to the Simpsons Behind the Laughter episode.
That is one of my favorite Simpsons episodes, yeah. It'll never happen, but I'd love to see a whole Scooby movie done in that style.
That'd be crazy.
Like maybe like kind of like a movie where it's like kind of like a mockumentary of the gang.
The closest we ever got to that, Tiki, was Looney Tunes Back in Action, where he had Matthew Lillard sitting down with Shaggy and Scooby, talking about the live action movie. If you screw me up, if you make me sound like a beatnik in the sequel, you'll be a Scooby snack. That whole thing. It was just that's the closest we're gonna get to that. Yeah. Well, I think I can round us out with something, unless you won't have anything else, Tiki.
Yeah, round us out. Go ahead.
All right. So I think just with the Cyber Scooby gang that we have, the mystery gang, the video game thing. Well, I think fundamentally it speaks to something about the movie where the mystery gang fundamentally should never change. The archetypes, we just redress the archetypes. That's how Scooby Doo's kind of been throughout the years. It's like we as the Mook animation films have shown. Yeah, okay, well, Daphne's a reporter now. We showed they've evolved with the times, but we can maybe a little bit of a pun intended here. We can three-dimensionalize them a little bit. We can add some extra stuff, add some layers, but so long we cannot change who they are at their core. The past, the data, as it were, the tracings, the lines, they must remain the same. And the fact that going forward now, like decades later, in the case of Cyber Chase, 20 years later, we will never be without Scooby Doo in some recent form, or some nowadays in a more recent crossover. And I think just this movie, we kind of paid tribute to that notion. A really nice, fun, cute adventure to convey all that, which has been nice, and again, still fun to revisit, still fun to reflect upon, and brings us to the end of our Mook animation journey. And I'm so darn sad we don't have any more Mook animated Scooby Doo films, because they were honestly the best out of all the Scooby Doo films, in my opinion.
But Dragon, if this were the end of the credits in an MCU movie, I will say that maybe not next year. I don't want to commit to that quite yet, but I am very much interested in going through some of the other movies, especially the ones with Casey Kasem post this. So I will say Scoobtember will return.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. This time, as another Scooby-Doo adventure comes to an end. Be sure to store all ascots and glasses in the overhead compartment on our mystery machine back from Coolsville. Watch out for those meddling kids next time on Scoobtember.
Where?